We are definitely ready to face Ben Ainslie today. In the end, it's a dream opponent. I mean, you want to face Ben Ainslie, you better do it in the final because, I mean, if you beat him, that is probably the world's best match racing team at the moment. So if you beat them in the final, well, it's perfect.
Jasper and his team have been sailing really well. I think they've only lost one match the whole regatta. For us, of course, we've done more races, so we're a bit more battle hardened. We've had a tough ride through it, and we'll give it our best today.
We feature two of the defining moments. Race 3, which Christian Camp, Ben Ainslie's trimmer, commentates.
Obviously, we thought the left-hand side of the track was favoured and went hard for the pin in pretty much every race, and lucky enough to get it in this one. He got the separation of the line, which is a bit of a worry, but still feeling strong here, going left with more pressure. But we had pressure coming into this intersection, so we thought we might have a strong lee bow on him. It turned out to be, an average lee bow after the tack. He obviously flagged this, thought we were tacking too close, but the umpires green flagged it. He probably got a little bit greedy here and just tried to close us down a bit too much and try to roll us here, which gave us an opportunity to luff him. And these boats are really hard to judge, so as soon as you go for the luff, like we do here, the rig stands up tall, and there's a bit of a gust that hit us, so his rig will lean over, and very close contact between the two rigs, and I think that made the difference here. And he obviously got a penalty, but ticked off to the right hand side, and as I remember when he came back, he was half a length stronger than he was at the intersection, so we knew we had a bit on, but we were happy with the penalty going his way. And here's a big dial down. He had the pole out to lure. We were a bit worried about that because it meant it was a big duck for us, but turning back up made the duck, and that actually put us in a pretty strong position, we thought. Got the right hand side and just managed to complete the tack. He started tacking as soon as we completed, and therefore they green flagged it, I guess. Got around us at the top here. He was just carried more momentum through that maneuver at the top there. There's a bit of luffing going on here, and it was obviously, we thought we had overlap in the beginning, and we were quite happy that we kept the overlap the whole way, but the umpires must have thought that that Radic and his guys broke the overlap, and we got one back for in a proper course call. But we weren't happy with that. We're pretty sure that our spinner had been overlapped the whole time, but it's a tough one. Ian Percy on our boat actually called that we should keep clear of him because we didn't know. And then he went for the jibe, and for us that was way too close. He never completed, and we had to bear, or actually come up to avoid collision. And lucky enough for us, the umpires saw it the same way, and they decided to give him a red flag penalty because he did gain control out of that one. So if he hadn't been able to jibe, he would have had to go straight on port, and we could have picked our time to jibe at the pin. By this stage, it was pretty much game over. Had to control the race from here, and obviously when someone has to take the spinnaker down on the run before they round the bottom mark, you're in a strong position.
We get Rasmus Kostum from the Gastra team to commentate on match 4.
So what we see here is two boats coming in towards the windward mark on port, and none of them are laying the mark on port. So the windward boat is we're taking them past the mark, and then just make sure that they're not gonna get an overlap when we tack around. So what we see is Ben and their team, they're trying to jibe around here, and we tack around and get an inside overlap or try to get an inside overlap at the windward mark. So we slowly bears away here, and we're able to be inside boat as we approach the windward mark second time. And here there is an incident where Ben is on starboard, and we're actually trying to tack around the mark, and it gets very close. We're looking pretty good here, and we got a bit of separation, but tacking this boat, you need to get your stern around, and here Ben's tried to squeeze inside. think we might have been crossing there, but it could have been a penalty for us as well in this situation. But the umpires judged that Ben is in the wrong, and we get around the top mark still with an overlap between the two boats on port, and stretches out a little bit as we are running down with spinners. We extend a little bit. And then what we're looking for here is an opportunity as the leading boat to jibe onto starboard and try and force them onto starboard tack as well, because they're sitting on port. So if you manage to get a jibe in here, then you're very strong on your opponent that will be on port tack. So we'll see that coming up shortly here, where clearly no overlap between the boats. And here we go, main through, lays on the other side, and the other boat keeping clear. Not coming up late. The leeward boat is not luffing that hard in the beginning here, so really being patient. And here's the luff. There's a big overlap between the boats, and yeah, to me it's a clear penalty on Ben and his team as being the windward boat and not keeping clear. But yeah, the umpires judged it the other way and gave us a penalty. So we would have been looking pretty good here with a green flag, or at least two penalties on Ben. Okay, so the boats are still close coming down the run, and it's marginal overlap between the boats, and Ben and their team broke the overlap, so that's why we tried to do a flip-flop here. And yeah, it might be a bit close here, still keeping clear between the two boats, both boats on starboard again. And it's a little hard to see from this angle if there's an overlap between the boats right now. But green flag from the umpires in that situation. And again, very close. It's hard to tell from this angle if the overlap is broken, but later in this sequence, then for sure we'll have an overlap between the two boats. That's where there's clearly an overlap between the two boats. Later in this sequence, we see Ben and their team jibing onto port, and there's a fake jibe for us there for Radic team, and that's now where you see there's a boat on port and a boat on starboard. So Ben's team is a port boat here, and we're still on starboard, and that's where we get a second penalty. And again, Ben's team jibing onto the port before we jibed away from starboard, so a little hard to see how that could be a penalty for us. And we're keeping clear here in the hard luff from Ben, and actually have a collision between the boats. But yeah, after the second penalty, it's game over, and Ben and their team win the third race in the final, and that was it.
So Ben Ainslie becomes the second only 2 times winner of the Argo Group Gold Cup, and celebrates in traditional style. The Argo Group Gold Cup was an amazing week that has now left the World Championship title still open to 5 skippers. The title battle now heads to Malaysia. So, see you at the Monsoon Cup.